We're live and direct, baby. It's Monday. Happy Monday. Hope you guys don't have a case of the Mondays. I'm going to start coining this Mixing Mondays and do it every Monday. What do you guys think about that? Live mixing. I'm going to be mixing in Pro Tools. I'm working on a sort of folk pop, epic, dark. You know, you're going to like it. I think it's dope. A little female vocal on there. If you haven't tuned in before, then you're in for something. We're going to go in depth. We're just mixing. Like, if you're not, like into mixing, like using different plugins and auxes and sends and delays and reverbs and all that, if you're not into that stuff, this is not the place for you. We're going to nerd out a little bit. If you guys have any questions, of course, drop them in the comments. And lastly, just for housekeeping, these videos, the live replays of these, because I do go into detail with the mixing stuff that I'm doing here, these replays are only available for members of the channel. So you can join the channel for $5 a month. You get access to all the replays of all the live streams that I do for mixing, producing, music business stuff, whatever. And you also get to cut the line when I do live song reviews. So I try to make that super, super valuable for you guys, like no-brainer kind of thing, right? Definitely worth many times that, but $5 a month, you can join the channel and you get access to all the replays of this. So if you can't like sit here for an hour and a half and like really be here with me, then you can always just check out the replay and get back to it. Or maybe you missed something like that I was doing with, a channel strip or something that you want to go back to, you can do that. So if you're here right now, say what's up, introduce yourself. Don't be a creep. Don't be a mouth breather. Don't sit on the other side of this thing and be like, what's he doing? Like, just say what's up, don't be an idiot. Like, this is a place of open discussion. Okay. Let's open up the session. I don't want to talk too much today. I just want to work. I got a lot of work to do, okay? So, yeah, here we are. This is Pro Tools. I have the session pretty much set up. I have all the stems in here. I've been kind of working on some of it already, but let's listen to the reference. I'm just going to play this reference. The track is produced by Jake Hayes. Really good dude. Kind of met him through Instagram. And the artist on here is Kristen, and I think she just goes by Chris. I'm not really sure, but it's called Black Leather, so look out for it when it does drop, and show support and love for the music, as always. Let's check it out. Now this is their bounce. This is their mix that I'm going to beat.
The black leather heat of your passenger seat. Oh, you told me that love was just so easy. All your lies, they tasted sweet. I'd lick them off your lips like honey. Oh, we both know how difficult it is to love me. Fucked up one too many times, leaving in the middle of the night. Baby, I don't wanna fight, promise I'll be alright. Oh baby, when I'm with you I go crazy. Yeah, you love it, drives me insane. I'm spinning out of control, no one can save me, and I swear you're the one to blame. Baby, when I'm with you, I go crazy. Yeah, you love it, drives me insane. But we're on fire. Yeah, we're on fire. We're burning love. In the black leather heat, we're taking pictures in your backseat, and I tell you that no one else can love you like I do. Your pretty face is going to hell, I guess I'm going as well. It doesn't seem too bad. fight. Baby, I don't wanna fight. Promise I'll be alright. Oh, baby, when I'm with you, I go crazy. Yeah, you love it, drives me insane. I'm spinning out of control, no one can save me, and I swear you're the one to blame. 'Cause baby, when I'm with you, I go crazy. Yeah, you love it, drives me insane. But we're on fire, yeah, we're on fire. We're burning love at the diner, we're up late. Baby, let's just
All right, so I'm not going to play any more of it, but you know, I like to vibe out to the reference mix. Obviously, I've heard this a few times now. I really try to lock in with the feeling that they're trying to get across. That's really my job as a mix engineer. It's also to keep the vibe 1000%. Like, make sure you do not kill the vibe of how mellow, how like gooey, and how warm, and the textures they're trying to get. So what I'm going to try to do with this mix, automatically in my head, I think open it up, right? It needs to be opened up. It feels very two-dimensional right now. It feels very flat, right? I want it to feel one swimmy and deep and a little bit wider. And when those other parts and the harmonic parts with the guitars and all that stuff hit in, I want to feel that. I want to swim in this mix. And I want her to take me on this like dreamy ride that she's got going on. She's got a really beautiful voice. It's very warm. We don't want to take away too much of the warmth. We don't want this to sound really pop. It's obvious by the reference mix. They're not going for this like glossy pop thing. They're going more for like a gooey, warm, fat, thick, rich sound, right? Very soulful. And very kind of almost like lo-fi a little bit, right? So I like all these vibes, man. This is like straight up in my wheelhouse. So right now, how I have things set up, let's go through that just so we can really understand what's happening here. The reference always goes through monitor left, right, which is ending up at the master here, left, right, input, right? It's just the master bus. So the master bus here has a little Hawkeye on it, which is giving me an overview of everything. Like, where are we hitting on LUFs, LU, dB, full scale. You can switch between any weighting, K12, K14, whatever. I typically just leave it on full scale for now. I'm looking at peak, I'm looking at RMS, I'm looking at LUFs, right? And I'm looking at correlation, left, right, phase, all that kind of stuff. So we want to widen this out a little bit more. You can tell, even if I go to the chorus here, you'll see kind of like how mono this really is.
Baby, when I'm with you, I go crazy. Yeah, you love it, drives me insane. I'm spinning out of control, no one can save me.
And it's a pretty good stereo, but I think we can go just a little wider. It's getting like right over here with some of this stuff, I think we can reach out a little bit. You do want to be careful with the out of phase sides, but it's good. Like, don't think that that's a bad thing because it says side out of phase, okay? That's actually just like your sides. That's it. That's all it's showing you is the correlation between the middle, center, and the sides, okay? So we do want that. We live in 2023 where now if you go to DistroKid, there's an option to upload Atmos, okay? So we're not just even in stereo anymore. Now we're like, hey, you got an Atmos mix? Like, fuck no, I don't have an Atmos mix. Who's listening to Atmos? All right, but that is maybe the future. There's a lot of speculation on that. Okay, so that's the reference going through the master, and the reason I do that is so that it's not affected by my master augs. Everything else is going through the master augs, okay? All my stems and all my buses. My buses, I've broken this down many times before. They all go to mix buses, and then they go to all buses, and then those all buses go to master augs. That's it. Very, very simple. Don't overcomplicate this shit. On my master on this one, it may get tweaked, but so far I have the variable mu, which will be perfect for this kind of vibe. I got the BX Digital V3, which is going to give me some mid-side control, some width, some EQ options here. Limitless, I think this will be a great plugin for this as well. just a limiter with a dynamic EQ vibe. Actually has a peak limiter and a regular limiter in there as well. And then Oxford inflator, give it a little more harmonics, saturation, etc. Golfos, love it. Taming, just this is going to give some separation as well to the whole mix. Soothe 2, right now I've kind of like taken down some of the things that I think are going to be harsh in the mix or too sparkly. I really don't want to get sparkly with this mix. The oven, okay, this is going to give me saturation. I have very, very little going on here. 0.6 on the cook here on the low burner, right? And then I have what? 0.5 on the mid burner. This is all going to change, by the way. 0.6 on the top burner, and then I got some of this sizzle, 5.6, and flow to take it back down. This is just gain management for the most part. And this is paralleling at 43%, okay? And then we got a little stereo width there happening as well. Like I said, this is all going to change, but I do like this plugin for the sizzle because this top end is not going to be super sparkly. It's going to be more like a saturated tube tape kind of top end, which I love for this kind of vibe, and it's going to work really great for that. I can already tell you that in my head. Now this is set up sort of, right? A little 2.6, nothing here, taking down the mids just a touch, low end. Mount on this is 80%. This is the harmonics here. Limiter going pretty heavy, and 0.2. I always take this down on the output. Little cheat code for y'all. Take this down 0.2, 0.3. It'll help it translate on any peaks, right? So this is kind of like peak limiting. It's like, hey, I don't want to go over 0.2, negative 0.2. Okay, just gives you a little safety net, and I like safety nets, especially when it's going to Spotify and Apple Music and all these other platforms that are literally going to take it down to it's going to cheese grade the shit out of that thing, out of the file. Okay, so now let's go through what I have so far in the mix and what I'm starting to build. I have the drums all right here, all in brown. And typically I'll do, like once I get all the drums going, I'll highlight them all and I'll grab all the regions. And I can double click here and make sure that the clips and the tracks are the same color as the drums. And this is just really easy visual reference for me to go, okay, they're all brown. All the drums are brown. I don't know how that one got sneaky little guy. But yeah, just put all the drums as brown so I can just find them really quick. Drums room. We got a bunch of different drum mics and different things going on there, which is really cool. And I think I just colored everything brown, but that's okay because I haven't really touched anything else. So let's listen to the drums that I got so far. And I popped the lead vocal in so far, but I'm going to take that and mute it for now, just so you can really hear what I got for just the drums and guitar. I think I popped in a guitar as well. So drums, guitar, bass synths, and then I'll explain kind of what I'm doing here. Okay, so we're getting a little more width, a little more depth, and just a little more separation out of all this as I add all these elements. There's a lot of bass layers to this, which I think is kind of cool. I'm not trying to like carve out everything for the bass. I actually like these stacks. I think they work really well together. I think Jake did a good job with the production here. And let's just put those in with the drums here. Actually, let's just hear the stacks here of the bass. So you have a gliding and subby bass. You have a bass synth, and a bass main. So there's literally 4 basses. Okay, this is a pretty common technique. I would say the guy that's really known for this is Jack Antonoff. He does this sort of thing where he really stacks in the bass sounds and samples. And that really comes from his work with, what's her name? Female artist. I can't think of it right now, but he's done a lot of stuff like this where he puts a lot of stacks of bass, which I think is cool. But we're going to make them all work together and make it feel really thick and gooey. And you can tell right away when you see that many basses in a track, they're not going for a nice, brilliant top end and sparkly mix. They're going for something really kind of big and thick and gooey and massive feeling. Okay, especially on the low end. Okay, so that sounded pretty good to me. I think the drums could come up a little bit, but so far I've just kind of treated these a little bit. They're all going through the drum mix bus and they're going to the drum master bus. So I'll kind of show you what's going on there. Just have a little bit of cleanup here. I think this could actually go down lower. NLS buses, 4 of them, then followed by 4 more. And we have the drum master bus, which has the R bass, the Shadow Hills, the black box, and the EQ here, which I think we probably want to bring a little bit more of that 120 back in. And the 2K I think is good to stay out a little bit. And here's your filter here. You could turn this on and you can filter out anything. This is a mid-side EQ, so this is the middle. This is the stereo section, right? Sometimes mono maker's cool, but for this kind of track, because there's such a massive low end and there's stacks of everything, I don't want the low end to be too mono. So I'm actually going to turn that off, especially on the drums, because that's where all my drums and my bass is going. So these basses, they're all going to the drum mix bus as well, as you can see here, okay? So they're all meeting up with the drums in the drum mix bus. Now, you could try a couple things here. You could try to put some of these basses outside of that drum mix bus, but for me, I feel like it glues them back together really well. So I really like that idea. Track spacer is on all of these, so it's really focusing on this low end here for the kick drum, and it's pumping with the kick drum a little bit. And that's just opening up a little bit more punch for that kick drum. I feel like punch was lacking in the mix. Okay, so it's just giving that kick drum some space, which is great, but it's also not letting the kick drum take the sub area. These synth basses are taking all that. So considering that's happening, we probably want to go into this EQ here and even pull the kick drum up a little bit, because you don't want to like use up that voltage if the basses are already taking all that, right? So we can bring this up probably like 25, 30. Like you don't need anything down there on the kick drum, right? Because we're really focusing on this area of the kick drum and letting the bass and sub take over the rest. If we need to automate this where the kick drum's playing and those basses aren't playing, very simple to do. Okay, so that's the kick drums and the basses. And then here's some drum room mics. I think these are interesting. Okay, again, let's save the voltage and trim out this fat here. And we can make this pretty sharp. We can go all the way up here. We don't need any of that, especially in the rooms. Another thing, I don't want the top end in the rooms either. Like, let's just shave it. So just don't need any of that. Maybe up to like 5, 6K, right? Maybe just the mids of the rooms and a little bit of that punch of that kick drum. But, you know, this is just for vibe and space. This should feel like more mid-rangey. Okay, and then we got a kick parallel where the kicks are going, API, EQ, P1A, and then a little Pro Q3, which again, kick parallel, let's bring that all the way up to like 30 or so. And then we have the AKG drum verb. I love this BX20 on snare drum. It's amazing. I mean, it's just an amazing reverb. Maybe one of my favorites of all time, especially as a plugin. Snare room. This is just the room snare. Let's hear it. All right, let's talk about this rhythm guitar and these strums because I think they're really, really important to the mix. So you have the Pro Q3, which is like really focusing these strums in the mid-range. Very important that I get rid of all this shit and I get rid of this top because these do not need to be sparkly. They don't need to be taken up high end. This is in the middle only. I'm ducking the 2.4. Got a Fairchild 660. It's just giving it texture, more harmonics, holding it together a little bit so you don't lose a strum. Chorus, the Juno 6, just very, very little bit mixed in, but it just kind of gives it a little bit more width and tucks it into the mix a little bit more, as well as the Valhalla room verb. But yeah, you guys just keep letting me know if you have any questions as I go through this for sure. What is going on? I'm gonna say what's up. Drew, how you doing, man? What's going on? Yo, Reggae Bible in the house. All right, that's what's up. Yeah, God Particle is amazing, right? Like one of the best plugins to come out in the last couple of years. All right, so yeah, so now let's these guitars. This is just one of the guitars, right? And then we have other guitars here. But before I start like stacking in instruments with my mixes, I typically go drums, bass, maybe like one instrument that's like really necessary for the part, like this guitar, because it's just a big part of it sonically. And then I'll put the vocals in. So I throw the vocals in as soon as possible. I always want to get the vocals in really quickly. Another thing, I always want to be mixing through my master bus and adjusting as I go. So that's just how I get to a modern level and how I work things. It's just how I mix. You know what I mean? Like I don't know what else to say. And definitely using templates and starting points for like my vocal mix buses, my drum mix, my drum master bus. Setting up something so it's all routed really quickly. That's really important as well. This 1073, I'm doing just a little bit of top on the vocal. That's it. Like this is just a little touch of top, and then I'm also filtering out 50 hertz and above. Okay, so below 50 hertz, so high pass filter. So then let's go into popping this vocal in. Okay, so here's the lead vocal. On the lead vocal, I have a Pro De-esser. I have a TubeTech CL1B because this is like the gooey female vocal compressor. Sorry, it's like the best for this vibe. And then I'm tucking back a little bit of that 300. She's kind of nasally and congested, and I don't want it to be too congested. I want her to be warm, but I don't want her to sound like, you know? And what I notice, like if I listen real quick to the reference, I notice a lot of like nasally stuff going on, okay? And it's like the mid-range that I don't like. And I think that we can minimize that. Just to show you right here.
Crazy, yeah, you love it, drives me insane, but we are on fire. I promise I'll be alright. Oh baby, I promise to love me. Fucked up one too many times.
So I can hear the way it's recorded, and she's really close to the mic, and it's like pointed at her nose. It's like it feels too like boxy almost. You know what I mean? So I want to fix that. I don't want it to change too much, but I do want that to sound more musical. I want that to be a vibe, and not. So that's kind of like where I started with that vocal, just so you can hear this. So here is the EQ, just a little touch. It's like 1.35 dB. I mean, come on. All right, so I'm gonna pop that in and out.
Baby, when I'm with you, I go crazy. I'm spinning out of control. No one can save me, and I swear you're the one to blame.
Right, just like very musical. It just sounds musical, and she still sounds warm and thick, and she doesn't sound like, you know what I mean? So that's really important. Let me see here. I'm gonna answer whatever questions y'all got. What are your guides for levels or dBs when it comes to your subs and kicks being the biggest part of the headroom eater at times? You know, that's a good question, but it's also like a question of, you know, I've done so many mixes over time that I really play it by ear a little bit. And I also like know where I want to put those kicks and those subs and everything. And I want to leave a lot of headroom before, like, I don't want to eat up the headroom. You're right. Like, that's super important. Like when I just have the drums and the bass in, you can see here, I'll turn on my SPL Hawkeye here. You'll see where the LUF's in and the overall is hitting just with this in right here.
Baby, when I'm with you, I go crazy. Yeah, you love it, drives me insane. I'm spinning out of control. No.
Right, so I still have a good 3 to 4 dB of headroom. Right, and that's really important because I got other instruments to bring in and everything. And as I mix, I might start to max out, and I'll have to kind of like rearrange. And a lot of my gain staging is going to happen in plug-in outputs and stuff. So yeah, it's just a matter. It's kind of organic, and it's kind of a modular process to get your gain stage right with the low end. But yeah, definitely a good question. It's just not a number thing for me. I don't think of it as a number thing. I'm not like, oh, I typically want to hit 6 dB, you know? Like, I've just been doing this so long, and like I know my room, I know my speakers, you know, like I'm dialed in with what I'm doing. And I know where the headroom needs to happen. I can hear it when it starts to distort. Like you can hear right at that breaking point where it's like, you know, where the low end will start to, and I'm like, now I got to make up for some headroom. Right. So yeah, it's not, every track's different too. Like if I'm working on a trap record with a huge 808 and a kick drum, you know what I'm saying? And like all this low end shit everywhere, then yeah, I'm maintaining and playing maintenance a lot more on the low and the sub. Hopefully that answers your question. Sorry, I didn't mean to press play there. Let me see. Gauss, what's up, man? I think it's Gauss. Goose. Yeah, dope. It's great to see you on the live. Yeah, boxy stuff is usually going to be like in 200 to 800. It can get into 700 really bad. That's it. Yep, that's it. Just on the 300. I think you're talking about the vocals. What do you got here? That's what I've been doing. I aim for -6. Then after I gain stage and add the plugins, I come back, add or subtract. Yeah, it's really a matter of balancing back and forth. It's very modular. It's just kind of part of the process. But you know, look, I'm working in a room that's very tuned. Like I tune this room up. I have like easily, like just in bass trapping and panels and stuff, I easily have over $10,000 just in trapping and stuff going on in this room. And then the speakers I'm using are Dutch and Dutch 8Cs, and they just do the low end really well. Like they're amazing with low end. I hear low end exactly how it is. If it sounds like shit, it sounds like shit. If it sounds really good and tight, it sounds good and tight in these speakers. They're really great for low end. They work perfectly for what I'm doing. So they're mastering grade. You can master, you can mix on them, you can produce on them. They're very expensive. So they're out of a lot of people's budgets, but you know, this is what I do for a living. So fuck it, right? All right, so lead vocal is in. I got a rap verb, which isn't really a rap verb. I'll show you what that is. If I go to my reverbs here. So all my effects are I always color them this like this teal color. But my rap verb here is this vintage Valhalla. Everybody uses it. It's just something that our ears have been attuned to. I messed a little bit with the pre-delay. That's about it, okay? For this one, because it's so slow, I might take the pre-delay even longer, like 30 to 40 milliseconds, okay? And then that, sometimes I will open up wave center and I'll kind of like let the reverb go out to the sides a little bit more, which is really effective if you're not hearing the reverb how you like it, okay? And that's going to all Vox. It's all getting married to the all Vox channel. And then there is also another send here. Let me find it. Vocal. Yeah, because I fucked this up because I colored everything brown like an idiot. You know, everybody messes up, you guys. Even people that have been doing this for 20 plus years, we mess shit up. All right, so don't judge me. Just trying to help. All right. Oh, I'm not even gonna color these yet because they haven't even been put in. Okay, so now let's put in. Oh, this is also going to a vocal verb. I know you guys like seeing the plugins, so I'm just gonna show you the plugins. Vocal verb, Altiverb. Fucking love this. This thing is ridiculous. 252. I'll exaggerate this so you can really hear it. And then it's followed by a Pro Q3 pushing the sides at the 8K. I might tuck this back just for this record. And then I dip the middle because I want the vocal, the dry vocal, to be there, but I don't want it on the return of the reverb, if that makes sense. And it should make sense. But yeah, let's exaggerate that, the vocal verb here, so you can really hear it. So I'm going to send a bunch of it.
Baby, when I'm with you, I go crazy. And your love, it drives me insane. I'm spinning out of control, no one can save me, and I swear you're the one to blame.
I mean, come on, fuck me. That reverb is just insanely beautiful. And it's so musical. Altiverb is like, you know, I spent like $700-800 on that package. It's an amazing reverb. It just sounds like it's in a room, you know, and I love that. That and a Brecasty like that. My next purchase is going to be a Brecasty, like a actual like rack unit. But this thing's amazing for what it is. You can also, I think this one's at 4 seconds. You can go into these and you can see, you know, all sorts of gear and stuff, and you can get into different lengths. Like for example, there's a 4.5 second reverb. There's a bunch of them. Like look at all these non-linear, but this is just a really cool one. I really like this. I've been using this one for a little bit. And what else we got? Okay, we're gonna pop in this guy and this guy. So these are like the doubles for this vocal. So let's hear these. I'll just kind of solo these by themselves so you can hear it.
Crazy, yeah, your love, it drives me insane. I'm spinning out of control, no one can save me, and I swear you're the one to
Beautiful. Gorgeous, right? Like, she's got a beautiful voice, and it's just really nice. I think these harmonies, these stacks, left and right, what I did here is I just didn't pan them out really far yet, because I haven't really got all the stacks in the vocals yet, right? Like, there's other stacks in here, and you got like other instruments. Like, here's an organ. You got 3 organs. You got lead vocal bus sum, which I'm probably not going to use because that's like his bounce of the sum, but I can have it to check a reference, right? You got a effects loop. You got a shimmery guitar. You have a guitar chorus verb. Oh, that's a bus sum, so we're not going to use that. So I'm just like, this I'm going to go hide and make inactive. Yeah, guitar chorus verb reverb on the guitar. And then what other vocals we got? Here's maybe, yeah, background harmony bus sum. So I think this is the same thing. This is just these backgrounds, but just summed into a bus. So that's it really, right? That's all we get to work with. On this, I think I ducked like that 400, that area on the backgrounds. But on the lead, you could see I kind of ducked like the 300. Just because like these had this kind of like really up front forward feel with that 400 to 500 area. And I don't want that with background vocals. I want them to like sit just behind the lead vocal and be kind of out in the back a little bit more. So in this case, I used another reverb on these as well, which I call Reverb 2. And that one is going to be this guy here, which is a Pro Q3, just focusing mainly on the mid-range. Valhalla Space Modulator, which is kind of like doing like a flangey chorusy thing. And then the Valhalla Vintage Verb at 5 seconds. So this is like a really big reverb. 20 milliseconds pre-delay. Again, I might crank that a little bit to like 30 or so. Okay. And then to hear that and to exaggerate the reverb, I'll kind of pop that in and push it so you guys can hear it.
Crazy how you love it drives me insane. Save me and I swear you're the one I blame. Crazy.
Really, really long, right? It's like kind of like floating, and it's probably too long, but it gives like a spatial thing. And honestly, when I listen to this mix and this record, I think, hey, this needs that reverb. And it's okay because the vocals really, this is a very vocal centric record. It's not really about the instrumental as much. Even if you listen to the reference here, their reference mix, listen to how much you hear the vocal.
We're on fire. Yeah, we're on fire.
Right? It's a lot of vocal. So we want to make sure that we do keep the vocal at the same level as what the reference is coming across with, okay? So that's really my thought process on that. So it's okay for the reverbs to take up that space with the vocal, but it wouldn't be okay if you put that reverb on like a guitar or something, because that would just eat up all this space. And you'll see as I start to build this, but I don't want that. Okay, and then let's get rid of this solo here, and let's just keep building this. I think the next stem I'm going to bring in probably is the this, what is a reverb guitar vibe. Yeah, right here, this guy. So guitar chorus verb. So let's start bringing this guy in, and I always do my guitars as red. And for now, I'm just going to duplicate this guitar I already have, and then we'll tweak this to make it work. So not the active playlist. I don't want to duplicate the actual track. We'll delete this guy. And now we have this, and let's just listen to this. I mean, I don't even know what this is. Looks like it's hanging left. Okay, so because I'm hearing that like bong, bong, like I'm hearing that picked, I have a suspicion that there's another one that's going to be like a picked guitar like that. So I'm going to make sure I'm not missing that. I'm also just like reading these over here. Yeah, so this is guitar main, and I see guitar, what is it, shimmery bust some. Lead vocal. Yeah, so let's check this guy out. Make sure that we're not missing something with the guitar. Okay, we definitely want to start pulling that guy in. I think for now, I'm going to mute this one, right? Because I don't want to hear this one yet. And we will bring up this kind of arping, shimmery guy. Because I feel like this is more important to have in the chorus. Let's see, where are we? I fucked up by coloring all of this brown. It's like screwing me up a little bit. So on this, we don't need to do anything besides put this out the instrument mix. So we go here and take this out the instrument mix, and then let's color it red. All the tedious shit that nobody wants to do, and why they pay me the big bucks. All right, and then let's bring down this EQ just so I can have it. And I think this could go up. That is good, probably. That might be cool. I just like kind of know this sound already because I just heard it. Right? And I can tell like what I want to kind of get rid of. I'm going to put this in the mid because I don't want this to clash with the vocal, right? I don't want this guitar to eat up a vocal area, right? And then Valhalla Room, I'm going to keep that on there. And I might do a little bit of the chorusing with the Juno. And then let's tuck this into the mix a little bit.
When I'm with you, I go crazy. Insane. I'm spinning out of control. No one can save me, and I swear you're the one to blame. 'Cause baby, when I'm with you, I go crazy. Yeah, your love, it drives me insane. But we're on fire. Yeah, we're on fire. We're burning love.
I don't feel like that's a featured instrument or it's even like that necessary for this record. So I'm not really going to worry about it right now, but the reference, like if I bounce to the reference and listen.
Love, it drives me insane, but we're on fire. Yeah, we're on.
Yeah, you don't even hear it. I mean, if you can hear that in that mix, it's like so like buried in the mix. So obviously it's not that important of an element. So I'm just going to kind of tuck it into the mix pretty good.
When I'm with you, I go crazy. Yeah, your love, it drives me insane. I'm spinning out of control. No one can save me, and I swear you're the one to blame.
Yeah. So we're just going to kind of like put that in. I mean, I want to hear it because it is a part of the record, but it's not like a super, it's not the record, if that makes sense. It's really about these like big strummy guitars and stuff. So that's where I'm going to put that for now. And then what is this? Background harmony sum.
Crazy and you love it, drives me insane.
Yeah, so that's literally this here, I believe.
Crazy and you love it.
Yep. So we're going to mute that. We're actually going to take that and hide and make inactive. And I'm still working on just like building this chorus up. Okay, lead vocal bus sum. I think that's going to be already what we have with the lead vocal.
Baby, I don't wanna fight.
Yep, don't need that. I'm going to just hide and make inactive on that. And what do we got? This intro effects loop. I'll bring that in once I bring in more important stuff. Seems like this organ stuff might be pretty important. So we got a organ bus sum, which is probably this church and the grand right here. So we'll listen to that. Yeah, seventh heaven verb, man. Like I haven't really even like got into that. I'll have to dive in on that because a lot of people love that reverb. I've heard people talk about that reverb quite a bit. But I just have so many good reverbs. It's hard to like, oh, I better try some more. You know what I mean? He's literally in a trap house. I love it. Oh, man. High definition, baby. See, now I got to get Altiverb. Yeah. You know, I wouldn't even recommend you get Altiverb unless you're making like a good solid 5 figures a month doing, mixing and client work and stuff. Otherwise, it's not really worth it. You can find other reverbs that you can get really, really close with. You know what I mean? There's plenty of them out there that'll get you really close. Yo, what's up? What's up? My guy, Jake's in the house. Kevin Whitaker, what's up, dude? Oh, man, you're on the YouTube. That's right, kids. We're on the YouTube. We're on the Tube Bangers. Hey, y'all, we're on the Tube Bangers over here. Do you ever just send all your guitars to one bus and just do all your EQ and compressing on that bus inserts? No. I might like take all the guitars there finally, but the problem with doing that is a lot of the times when you bus all your guitars to one thing and you start to EQ them and treat them the same, they lose their stereo. They collapse. So I don't like to do that very often. But I do like to, I'll treat guitars like, I'm like, oh, here's a rhythm, and then here's a lead guitar, and then here's like counter thing for guitar. I'll treat all those and I'll put them where I need to put them in the stereo space and back and front and all that stuff. And then I might bus those to their own bus where I can kind of glue them together a little bit. Like maybe with like a mid-side compressor where I can tickle the sides, you know what I mean? To control them a little bit more. Or to get more level out of them, or, whatever. But here's the thing, like all my guitars and all my instruments end up going to an instrument mix bus anyway, right? So they're all getting some to a mix bus as well. So if I go up here, you can see instrument mix bus has a little EQ on there, and then it has this guy, which is something I love. Like, I don't know. People hate on Waves. I think all their stuff is kick-ass. Like they make just incredible plugins. This is one of them. This Abbey Road series is just incredible. Like it's so musical. So this is the TG mastering chain. I got to do the live version when I do it on a bus because you'll get latency otherwise. But I do a little spread. I do a little compression there with the limiter here. There's filtering. There's EQ here, right? Like full-on EQ. So yeah, I can really shape things together if I want to on the instrument bus. And if I want to like really go down and break it down even more, I can make a guitar mix bus and then that goes to the instrument mix bus. You know what I mean? So it just depends on what the record needs. So everything always just depends. Like it's like yes and no all the time. So I have these piano buses. That's where I'm going to put these organs to start with. I'm going to try these out. I'm going to go, okay, let's first off, because he already has a balance on this organ bus, let's just grab the organ bus, bring it up here to the piano, right? And let's go here and let's pop this guy onto, yeah, probably piano 1 here. Make active. Bam. Let's look at my piano bus, right? So I got an NLS channel, gonna give some vibe, some harmonics, push some gain. Got the decapitator, that's also giving some vibe with the E, which I believe is an EMI tape machine. I don't necessarily know, maybe this was the tape machine. I'm not sure, but this is Neve, this is Triode, this is Pentode. I forget what the E is, but I think it's a tape machine. And then it's pushing a little 100. And then I also have like Pulsar Echo Rec, one of my favorite delays of all time. Just think that's awesome. I'm not going to turn that on for now, but it's there. I also have an AIR chorus, very light on CPU, great chorus. If I need to use it, it's there. R-Comp, obviously, GOAT level, Waves plugin, classic. R-Comp is just amazing, just sounds good. Valhalla Room, I have it on deck if I need it. I got the Valhalla Shimmer if I'm really going for a crazy big, dreamy kind of piano vibe. And then I got the Wave Center to like get the piano out into the sides a little bit more if I need to, right? And that's it. And then I got a piano reverb, and this is also going to the vocal reverb. For now, I'm going to bypass both of those, but I'll show you what the piano verb is. It's, again, the Altiverb, and that's in Cello Studios, just like a live room. Pro MB, taking down some of that low end because I just find that this room builds up low end. So I just dynamically EQ, compress it down. And then this has Spectre to kind of like, if I need to find somewhere where that reverb, that piano reverb can sparkle a little bit more, that's just going to give it some harmonic saturation and stuff. So that's what the piano verb is. So we can turn that on and off, whatever. But here's the organs. Let's pop these in and let's get them in the mix.
Baby, when I'm with
All right, so I'm really like just trying to tuck it into the dimension, right? And as I'm thinking about that and as I'm working there, I'm thinking about, where does the organ go? Does it go right behind the guitars and like kind of, have like the high harmonics like saturating with the guitars, Does it hug with the guitars? Does it feel like one with the guitar? That's really important, Like you have to know how to do that instinctually. I can't like explain that step by step, like, oh, and then I do this and this is going to tuck that back that way, etc. Like we're really messing with like EQ, we're messing with pre-delay, we're messing with the tonality, the room, the dynamics of how the plugins are interacting with the sound, compressing so we don't like lose, like the organ doesn't sound like we don't want that to happen. We want it to just kind of like sit with the guitar so the guitar can be more dynamic, right? So it's going and this like foundation of the organ is just going, you know what I'm saying? So it's really, really important that you know how to tuck things and move things around in space. Yo, what's up, Scott? How you doing? That advice you just gave, I have the TG mastering chain. Yeah. Definitely put it on the live version. So is this your mixing template of Pro Tools you use on the regular? Yeah, I mean, I use different templates for different mixes and different styles. Like I mix a lot of trap, I mix a lot of pop, I mix rock, I mix heavy shit, I mix like everything, bro. Like I mix orchestral stuff. I've worked on plenty of movies. Lego Movie, 22 Jump Street, Thor Ragnarok, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs 1 and 2, actually just 2 on that. Hotel Transylvania, bunch of Netflix series. Like I've just done a lot of different styles. So I just put that all into my arsenal. What's up, man? How are you? Beatsville, USA. Yeah, the organ's cool, man. Like, I think he's got cool sounds in here. Will you leave the VOD? I leave the video replay. I think that's what you're asking. I leave the video replay up for members that are subscribed to the channel. So meaning Radium Roundtable members that are subscribed. It's $5 a month if you want to watch the replays on all my lives. Don't sleep on Bradley, 100%. You know what it is, bro. Yeah, man, I'm not gonna sit here and like brag about everything I've done. I don't like when people do that. It's annoying to hear all the posturing. Plus, you got all these motherfuckers on TikTok and shit that like think they made it or something because they got like 100,000 followers for talking about mixing or something. Like, I'm just not one of those people. I don't care about that. I care about making great records. That's what I care about. And doing this live streams because I like helping. I really want people to become better at this shit. I'm tired of records sounding like shit. I'll be real. All right, so now we got that organ in there. I think it sounded really good. We just always have to be careful with the vocal. So to like this organ, the problem I have with it is that it's like right in that mid-range, like 1K, 800 to like 500 even, up to, like 3K, where it's starting to eat into the vocal. So for that, like I might throw a little, let's like push this to a like a bus or something, a sidechain kill bus. Yeah, let's see if we could do that. I don't know. Last time I couldn't figure that out. It didn't work. So we'll send this, the lead vocal, to a new track here, and we're gonna make an AUX, and we're just gonna call it sidechain instrument duck. Okay. And I'm gonna make this a mono signal because we're just sidechain ducking. We're gonna create that, and then we're going to kill this. We're gonna mute that, and that's going to be sidechain instrument duck. Okay. So now we go to our instruments. You can even just do this on the instrument bus. It might be a good way to do it. Go to the instrument mix bus right here, and then I'll just put like anything on here is fine. Waves has a really dope C6 sidechain, which is great, and you can really just like lock in on the mid-range, which is what I'll do. And might even just like do this, go up here, and you also have these floaters, so you could float these to anywhere, which is really dope. I just love this plugin. I think it's just a classic plugin. Works perfectly. Exactly what you want to do with it. So now we can go to, like, for example, this this area where the vocal really is. Like, this is the meat and potatoes of the vocal, that 500 to like 4K. And then we can solo this if we need to really hear it. We'll go to external so we can have a sidechain. We'll go to our input and we'll go to our sidechain instrument duck, right? And that's where the vocal is going to send to. Go back to the vocal here. Make sure we send it out the vocal. So here we are, sidechain instrument, right? We already had it. And then we can just send 100% if we need to. It doesn't really matter. We'll just do this with the threshold and everything. So now on the instrument bus, we can duck that area every time the vocal comes in. That's just like a really good way to make more space for the vocals, and give more separation to everything, right? Like, I highly recommend you always make room and space for the vocals. You don't need to add more. You don't need to add more harmonics, more EQ, more compression to the vocal. You need to sometimes just take things out of other things, right? To make room. That'll give you a lot more headroom on your master as well. It'll get you louder records. Okay, little hack for you. Sometimes you do need to add, but in this case, nah. There's a lot of stacks of stuff in the mid range. So C6, so here we are. So now we're soloed here. We can go in, we can actually just bypass everything else. Just go like that, bypass. And then now we're only using this band. And let's take the threshold down, right? Like, yeah, we'll take this down a little bit. And we'll take the threshold down to where when it's hitting, it kind of tickles it down a little bit.
Baby, when I'm with you, I go crazy. Yeah, you love it, drives me insane. I'm spinning out of control, no one can save me, and I swear you're the one to blame. 'Cause baby, when I'm with you, I go crazy. Yeah, you love it, drives me insane. But we're on fire, yeah, we're on fire.
I mean, that's fucking incredible, y'all. Like, that is crazy. That is a cheat code right there. That's what we call a cheat code. Now, you know, if you want to like let the body of the vocal in on, you know, drums or wherever, you can do that same thing with this. You can go over here and you can just do like certain amounts, which is like so freaking powerful. Y'all got to understand how powerful that is, that we could just take that and just duck this little area, you know, like, let's bring this in. Let's threshold this a little bit down. Let's take the range up. So it's just ducking just a little bit of that. Let's take the range on this up, you know, so it's just barely ducking. And once you start hitting up against limiters and master chain and all that stuff, these little dB matter so much because you're going to bring the level of everything up. But then you're going, all right, well, just make some space for the vocal, right? It's like ducking it. Like, yeah, just make some space for the vocal. Very musical way to make space for vocals and make the mix sound really great.
Baby, when I'm with you, I go crazy. Yeah, you love it, drives me insane. I'm spinning out of control, no one can save me, and I swear you're the one to blame. 'Cause baby, when I'm with you, I go crazy. Yeah, you love it, drives me insane. But we're on fire, yeah, we're on fire. We're burning love. Baby, when I'm with you, I go crazy. Yeah, you love it, drives me insane. I'm spinning out of control, no one can save me, and I swear you're the one to blame. 'Cause baby, when I'm with you, I go crazy. Yeah, you love it, drives me insane. But we're on fire, yeah, we're on fire. We're burning love.
Really lets that vocal shine. Now check out what happens when I start to bring in more level on the master bus now, right? This is where you really start to go, oh, I get it now, right? Like, we're going to take everything and we're going to put it up against the ceiling, right? That's where it starts to shine. That's where it starts to matter.
Baby, when I'm with you, I go crazy.
You see what I'm saying? You see how like it all of a sudden it's like everything comes up and it all comes around the vocal, but the vocal's like still right there. It's like not, the vocal's not getting slammed down. The vocal's not getting covered up by limiting and then bringing up the low level information that is the instruments, that is the drums, that is the subs and all the bass, right? So now we got like, ooh, baby of the, like she just becomes more powerful and more beautiful, and it blossoms. It starts to whoa, and it's like, you know, a lot of people, they're like, yeah, but when you limit, like it's gonna kill the dynamics. Like, not if you do it right. Not if you use these little tools and these little tricks to get that extra vibe going, right? So it's just a culmination of a lot of different things that you're doing to make sure that happens and you get that glue. So there's still other things that we got to put into the mix, right? Like, let's see. I noticed there was an organ. Yeah, a little stray organ here. This was not my friend here. I'm going to hide and make inactive. So this is the church and the grand organ. And I think we have a group in here. So I'm going to hide and make inactive both those organs because I already got them in. Lead vocal, pre-chorus, got it. Okay, I'll get to that. Intro effects, this is the last thing we got. And I think it just goes throughout. Maybe it's like a noise thing or it's something to give it some texture. I'm not really sure, but let's bring it up and let's bring it into like the instruments area. And let's just use something that it's going to work with. But for now, I'm going to solo it and hear what the hell it does. Okay, cool. So it's just kind of a vibe. Got a little vibey texture going on. So what I can do here is I got a keys group. I think this might work here, or a whistle group. Let's try this guy and let's start to put it in and see what we can do. So right away it feels too wide to me. So I'm going to take it in a little bit. All right, 86, 86. All right, so that's just the texture. That's like not something that I need to feature or anything, but now it's in there. Let's hide and make inactive the whistle group. There is definitely no whistle in this guy girl vibe. Effects chorus, what do we got here? Pitch hook. Okay, that's dope. We got to definitely get that guy in here, or that girl in here, because it's definitely female. All right, let's check it out. Let's go here, bring this in where the other vocal is. And I'm going to start playing cleanup here in a second once I get enough of these tracks in. Background chorus, get rid of these, delete them. And this is the chorus pitch hook. I'm not really sure what this is doing, but we're going to find out. And we're going to, for now, just color it with our other vibes here, right? And then we will take it out the vocal mix bus. And let's just pop it in the mix.
Drives me insane, but we're on fire. Yeah, we're on fire. We're burning love.
All right, right, cool. I really like this. It's like almost like a moment in the record where we get to do really fun shit as mix engineers, where he's already kind of done a sound design thing that's really vibey, and now I get to like take it and make it really extra special, or not feature it at all because they don't want it featured. But a lot of the times, like as a mix engineer, you want to put your like little spank, little sauce on there and be like, oh, you don't like it? You can always take it back out. You know what I mean? So don't worry too much about like overdoing something like that, like a special moment in a record. Just do it for your clients and then be like, yo, this is what I thought was dope. And if they're like, yeah, we don't really like that, it's easy to go undo. Anyway, you guys liking this? You got any questions at all? Singer has a fabulous vibe. She does deserve the God particle on her song. She's great. Yeah, she's super dope. I gotta find her Instagram or something so you guys can follow her because I love that. Love that vibe. Let me see my baby. Drive me insane. Really, really dope. Let me see. I think he said she goes by like just Chris. Yeah, I'll find her stuff and I'll let you guys know, but she's super dope. I really like her voice and stuff. And I've mixed records for Jake before, but not her. Yeah, Jake has a band as well. Does the all instrument bus include the drum bus? No, because the all instruments is not an all drums. Drums got to be separate. You know what I mean? You got to keep them separated. Drums are so important to a record, and instruments are so important to a record as well, that they got to be separated. You know what I mean? Like, so all my drums and sometimes my basses as well will go through the drum mix bus. All right. So because the drum mix bus is so, the best way to put it is drums depend so much on transients and transient information, right? The smack, the attack, the lifeblood of the record, that's what jumps out of the speakers, That's what makes people dance. That's what makes people move. That's what gives the dynamic to the record, is the transient information. How fast something pops out, how it peaks. Everything has transients in it, right? Even an organ or a piano or a guitar or whatever. So you got to try and keep the certain transients, you got to keep them alive. And some transients you want to kill and you want them to be in the back and you want them to be swimmy. If you want things to swim and you want them to be in the back, you got to keep the transients down. So anything that's ta, 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 or ka, ka, pa, ta, anything with an attack, right? A string attack, a clap, a piano, clung, cling, clung, the initial attack of anything, the transient. If you want it to be in the back, you got to take it down. If you want it to be in the front, you want it to jump out of the speakers, you want it to be immediate, you want it to be modern, you got to bring those up and you got to make sure that they're heard. We use harmonic distortion, and that's what the NLS buses are doing, right? And then that's what the R bass is doing. It's harmonics. That's what the Shadow Hills compressor is doing. It's harmonics. It's what the black box analog design is doing. It's harmonics for sure, 100%. Like massive harmonics, right? You got saturation, you got pentode, triode tubes. This is everything, right? And then for the instrument mix, you have, some EQ to duck things and keep things out of the way. This is giving some harmonics for sure. But it's like a different saturation and it's spreading things a little bit. And then the C6, like I showed you what I'm doing with the vocal, and then that goes to an all instrument bus. So that's the all instrument bus, and the drums go to the all drum bus, and the vocals go to the all vocals bus, and the effects go to the all effects bus, right? And so on and so forth. And then these all go to the master augs. And why do I do this? Because first of all, like I can control the mix a lot more. Second of all, you can always just mute stuff to have, I got an instrumental mix, mute the all Vox, bounce. So all Vox has all the vocal returns as well. Parallel compression on vocals, reverb returns on vocals, delay returns on vocals, any special effects that are going in vocals, right? So I can just mute it and make an instrumental pass. Or I can go mute, and I can make a acapella mix with all the vocal compression, effects, parallel processing, etc., because they all end up at the all Vox. So it's very, very important to the mix process and what we do as mixing engineers and for mastering, right? So when you want to make alternate versions for mastering. But anyway, I'm going to get out of here, you guys. I really appreciate you coming through the stream. Hopefully you got something out of it. And if you did, you should definitely subscribe to the channel, become a member. It's $5 a month. You can cancel at any time. But when you do that, you're going to get access to all these streams. You can replay all the streams I've done, the mixes I've done on hip hop, the pop streams, the rock streams. You know, I try to do these as much as possible. I do at least one every week. Right? So you got a bunch of streams there. It's definitely worth it. If it's not worth it for you, then just cancel. It's like, spend the $5. You're like, oh, I never watched any of that or used it. Cool. I don't care. Like, I'm not here to be your dad. I'm not your dad. I'm not your dad. There's a lot of new content coming out, you guys. And I have a music video, an official music video dropping for What If. That's going to be coming next week. I got a brand new record coming on Monday or on Friday that's called Bring the Good Times Back. And that's just a pop record, and it's dope and I love it. And I hope you guys like it too, but that's dropping. I need your guys' support though. You know, you got to check out the records. You got to share them. You got to spread the word. And I'll keep giving you free game. I'll keep doing free live streams. I'll do live song reviews. I'll keep giving you free content. You know what I'm saying? So keep showing up, show love, subscribe to the channel, do all that good stuff. Like this if you liked it. If you got something from it, drop a comment, you know, spread the love. Peace, guys.